Hey guys, what is happening? Dan here, aka Nightfox. Today, we get the opportunity to sit down with Chris and Levi of the Ninja Teens. They wrecked the course this year on their runs on American Ninja Warrior Season 14. But before we get started, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any other interviews with great Iowa ninjas. Hey guys, how's it going? I appreciate you guys giving me time to sit down and talk to you again.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yep, round
Definitely.
2. Well, we got round 3. 4, maybe,
I don't know. But you guys, we interviewed you for your qualifying runs where you guys crushed it. Chris, you had the fastest time, and Levi, you got the mega wall. So we're back again to do the semifinal runs. I'm really excited to hear how you guys did. Chris, let's start with you. Walk us through.
Yeah, so this time it was actually filmed overnight. So that was I probably ran at close to 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so would have been 7 a.m. here.
Yeah.
So that was, first off, that was the main struggle that we had to overcome when training for it. Is just training our sleep schedules.
Definitely.
And that's
working
something
out overnight.
That's something that people don't think of either. They just think it's working out and stuff, but it's shutting out your personal life pretty much. The only people I hung out with was Chris and Jackson and the other people that made it through. Didn't have much time to see anyone else pretty much. It was just sleep throughout the day, wake up, go to work, train, stay up all night, and
That's
repeat.
exactly it. We'd still work here during the day and coach classes and do all that, and then we'd go home for an hour or two, eat some lunch or breakfast at that time for us probably, and then we'd be here all night working out. And then we'd go to bed for 6-7 hours until noon, 1 o'clock, and we'd be back again coaching classes the next day. So personal life was pretty much non-existent in training for it. But the course, let's get to the course. First step, our first obstacle was the shrinking steps as always.
Yep.
Second obstacle, I don't remember the name to it. It's a new obstacle. You basically lâché to a preloaded lâché bar, and once you catch it, you can slam it forward and it tips forward. And once you're there, you can build up the swing to another one just like that.
Yeah. And
then to just a normal T-bar, I think.
Yeah.
And then you just dismount.
Yeah. And then if you don't push it forward and just catch it, it'll fall back on you, and then you go to the side to roll it over. So it saves a lot more energy if you just go right through it with.
Definitely.
But yeah, I don't remember the name, which is kind of bad, but it was cool. It was new. I'm always up for new obstacles. Third obstacle was clockwork, which I was scared of.
I think that's one of my favorite obstacles. It just looks very intricate, and I'm sure when you're on it, you're overthinking maybe a little bit.
So much.
But it I think in all reality, it's not that difficult. You just got to get the right motion.
That's what you think, man.
I haven't been on it. So
seeing on TV, it's oh, it's cool. They all move together.
Yeah.
But when you're facing it dead on, I'm pretty sure they changed it a little too, because the middle one, you start with the bar on the bottom of the first one, obviously, but the middle one's upside down, so you kind of have to not throw the bar behind you, so it'll turn the opposite way. I'm pretty sure in previous seasons they were all lined just a little more crooked, but they weren't completely upside down. So I got through it, but I was overthinking and overgripping it super hard. Just because I've seen people fail before me. John, the runner before me, he fell on it. And that's not what you want to see, the runner before you.
Yeah.
Chris was one of the last runners of the night too. So
I was second to last or something.
Seeing a lot of people just struggle with it, because it's the first move is the killer. That's the one that it's just the timing and the weight of the first one is just you have to figure it out quick, or it's gonna be a long course.
You could be hanging on it forever just to get the timing out, because it's weighted a little bit too. It's not like a normal trapeze bar where the swing just lets you go. It's all made of metal, so it's heavy, so you have to kind of pull it back with you to get the timing right.
And with it being an early obstacle, you don't want to burn all your energy there, because the semifinal course is so much longer.
Yeah, you just know you have so many more obstacles ahead. You want to be efficient and quick through the first couple.
Yeah.
So I got through clockwork, and then the third or fourth obstacle was diamond dash, which is an iconic balance obstacle that we were hoping we wouldn't get, but we're it's probably gonna be it. What else would it be?
We were hoping for a spinning bridge, but it wasn't that.
Wasn't our night.
Yeah.
So about the diamond dash, I thought I made it through really easily, and then all of a sudden my second to last step, I think, I just tripped out of nowhere, and I'm it didn't feel him tip on me at all. I don't know what the heck happened. and I look back and my foot was like on the very front side, and it just was like almost completely vertical, and I just like dove to save it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm past it. Let's not think about it.
Really
Man, that was
sucks
close.
because like the walkthroughs, like when we did before, they like I was having people like test them and demonstrate it, but they've been there for the past week testing, so they know what to do, and
they
like,
know how it feels. They've done it a million times, so they just like bounce across it and they don't move. Like,
I think it was Jessie Graff that demoed it for us.
No, it was Olivia Vivian,
and she just bounced right through it. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, doesn't move, and we're like, that's it.
Cool.
That's it. Stay in the middle, and we're good. But yeah, that's. Definitely, that was probably like my favorite balance I've done.
It is cool. I'm not gonna lie, facing it, I was really confident, just because they're so much bigger in person.
Yeah.
And then obviously everything happens so quick on it. You don't have enough time to like freak out about it.
Yeah.
Like you almost fell. You just move on.
Yeah, you're just
I'm just
on to the
happy
next
I got
one.
through that one.
Yeah.
So on to the next one. Also a new obstacle was hopscotch. It's basically you jump up to these 2 separate swinging cliffhangers.
I think the first one was still, weren't they?
Maybe. I don't remember.
Some of them.
So 2 separate. I'm just gonna say they're all swinging because that's what I remember.
Okay.
2 separate swinging cliffhangers, and it's just like hopscotch. The next one is 1, and you just match right there, and then the next one's 2, and then the last one.
There's 5. There's 5 different moves. So it goes from out. Maybe I think it starts in, out, in, and then it goes sideways.
That sounds right. But I just remember the last one you have to go sideways, and that was the one that I was kind of worried about, just because. You have to turn yourself in there, and everything can happen so fast. But that one, it was simple. It was.
You guys have put in a lot of cliffhanger work here too, and we have an obstacle like that where you grab on both sides.
It's up right now, actually. But
the ledges were pretty beefy too. It was just kind of like make sure that you don't push it forward and miss the ledge. And you want to come down on top of it, which is. I mean, I think we both like before like really worked on making sure that we like knew what obstacles come down on, knew what obstacles go through on. So we kind of knew that we had to get up high and come down on top of it. So
I was a little stressed about it just because I'm like, I know how to do it, I know what to do, but I'm just scared with the adrenaline that I'm just gonna push a like a little too far and it's gonna go. I'm gonna whiff and
and with the lights in the crowd, like the pressure is just so much more.
And like the last one, you have to catch it tight. Like the ledges for are only like they're your hand width wide, so it's like you have to be super precise.
Not much room for error. So I got through that and then up the warped wall pretty easily. May I add that since I was like the second to last runner, I knew how fast I needed to go to a certain point. So I knew I needed to go on top of the same ladder and touch the beginning of the next obstacle before like 2:15 or something like that. And I didn't know how fast I was going. I still felt good through the first 5. But little did I know I got up the warped wall at like a minute 15 or something.
So like you were moving.
And I didn't know. I heard like Levi and Jackson be like, gotta go. Like you just have to go, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. So I took that like personally for some reason, I guess. And I was on top of the warped wall and I just kept running. I didn't stop. I just ran right into the trampoline, hopped right up to the same ladder and went up as fast as I could. And on top of the same ladder, I'm like, okay, I need to slow down. I'm getting tired. But at that point, I knew I qualified for Vegas. So it was like, if I fall, I fall. But if I get through it, I have a chance at being one of the fastest times I can get through it. And then I got up the same ladder, obviously, as fast as I could, touched the next obstacle. And this was another new obstacle. Number 8 was box office.
Great name.
It's a really good name. It's just pretty much upside down hammers is what it looks like.
Okay.
And the first one, did you have to catch the slot or on the top? No, the first one you catch on the top. So like, let's say the handle's here, and then there's a box there. You just catch on top of the box, which are on bungees too. Yeah. And I caught it, but it was like very like angled. Like I had no room for error. So I was just death gripping it, which also made me more tired to when I'm already tired. So I was like trying to save it, but the bungees kept bouncing, so I couldn't get air off my hands to like adjust it. So I just went with it. And then the middle box, there's 3 of them. In the second and middle box, there's like a little slot that you have to like turn sideways. That's one slot and the other.
That's not little slot. It's a pretty big slot.
It's big, but like, you know, on the show when the pressure's there, like, oh man, I don't want that slot at all.
Yeah.
Like, so from my brain thinking, I'm like, that thing is like scary. So I went from the slots, got that one, and at this point, I'm like, I'm so tired. And I just got the swing. I thought, looking back, I needed one more, and I think I got one more. I would have had it, but I was just trying to move and get off it quick. So otherwise, I'm going to be more tired. But yeah, I went for that last one, and I just didn't have enough swing, and I peeled off. But obviously, I was disappointed because I'm always going to clear the course. But
Definitely.
Looking back at it, I wish I would slow down between the wall and the sand ladder because that's what gassed me, is just running between it.
Yeah.
But you play the long game.
Definitely.
I'm moving on to what is the chance to win the $1 million.
Yeah, for real.
Obviously, I was happy, but a little disappointed at the same time.
Yeah.
So.
It would have been a little better if I wasn't soaked celebrating. But it was still cool. I'm not downplaying it. It was really nice knowing that I was moving on and
Yeah, I mean that's the most important thing. Like, yeah, you're disappointed that you fell, but you get that redemption of you get to go on another course.
Exactly.
And more motivation not to fall in 8 next year.
Yep, 2 years in a row falling on 8. Next year, I'm not getting wet. It's not happening.
It's a dry season.
It's a dry season.
Yeah.
All right, so Levi, let's talk about your run.
Yep. So we had a bunch of corn in our systems before we started this.
I forgot about that.
So they had us do like a. They already knew like the run order and stuff, but they had us do like kind of like a corn cob eating contest to see
Like a little skit for
who went
starting line.
first.
Yep.
So like before like anything happened, me and Chris were up on the stage like before like any runners
Like
went
an
by.
hour before the runners.
Yeah, so they had us like go up and like run like race through eating corn cobs. So like I like finished mine, I threw it off, and I like raised my hands like I won. I grabbed Chris and
Grabbed it out of my mouth and started.
so like it was not ideal. Like we knew we were gonna do this before, and we're like, oh, we're these people, I guess now. That's what we are.
We're from Iowa.
Like
Yeah, of course.
so it's like they told us that like we're doing this like before we run, right? I don't want to do this like right before. So they allowed us to do that, which is super cool, and it turned out awesome.
It was so funny.
Yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, mine. So I was up on stage going, and the guy right before me, he's really good. He just slipped up and made a mistake on the second obstacle, and like you could just hear like the disappointment with him and stuff. And I'm like, oh no. I was like, I had like all my plans going on in my head. I was gonna try to link through them and stuff, and I'm like.
That's the thing. No one expected him to fall right where he did. It's just he didn't get as high as he needed to and just fully whiffed his hands on the bar. The bar sits still, like no one there expects to miss that.
Yeah.
It's just it happens.
It just happens.
And that's why you can't overlook any obstacle.
Yeah. And then I was just like, oh God. This is it. I mean, it's my turn now. So I went.
That's the worst thing.
Went through this.
The runner before messes up and then.
Yeah.
Oh, and early too. So like you probably think, okay, I got a few minutes before I got to go, and then he falls on the second one. You're like, oh, okay, it's me now.
And I wasn't like early in the night. I was a little bit late. I was a couple runners before.
It was after lunch.
I know it was like after lunch for us.
Yeah.
It was I probably ran like 3 a.m. or so. So it's like our normal training time. So I felt ready to go, warmed up, which is weird because. Cold there, and they have like heaters running around and stuff like that. But steps went good. First obstacle, I think both me and Chris said that the rope felt so slippery.
Yeah, you guys had said that in the qualifying round.
I grabbed it and I went, and I was like, oh God, I wasn't expecting it again. But got through that, and I knew I wanted to go at a fast pace just because again, if you make it to the same line or pass it, usually you have a good shot.
Yep.
That's always like the turning point.
Yep. And then,
get there, and then after that, just. Do your thing.
And then in the back of your head, you're always like, oh, fastest time, we can get that. Like, if that happens, we have a good shot to make it like get good recognition and go on further in Vegas and stuff. But so I just went straight into the second obstacle. I was planning on linking through the first like jump and link into it, but that didn't happen. I jumped up, took a swing, got through. I pushed both the bars over on my first swing through, didn't pull back towards me. Got through that, and then on the clockwork, which is. Like, I think both me and Chris agree, like, if we never see that obstacle again in our lives, 100% okay
I've never come close to having a heart attack until I saw Levi do clockwork.
So it was, like, because it's like, it's heavy, so when you come up, it pauses for a second.
It's like just a little delayed.
So it delays, so you start falling, but the bar stays there.
Stays behind
so
you.
it kind of gets rid of your swing. So you have to make sure you, like, push the bar down as you swing to get it going.
Yep.
And it took me a little bit to get it figured out, then I kind of got it. And then I threw, and then when I came up to catch, I caught like a normal bar. So like my hands were straight forward, but the bar drops on you. So when I caught it, my wrist like rotated back, and it was just my fingertips on it. And I was so, like, it was like, oh my God, I almost felt like re-gripped as fast as I could. I was like, oh my God, there's no way I caught that. But
barely hanging.
But then the next move is super. It's like
you can almost link it. Like, I remember on mine when I got to the end,
you like shook and you're like,
I looked at you guys and I'm like, oh, I could have just went right to it.
But but the second to third is simple. Like the bars are like perfect with each other, and then landing platform. And then I did the same thing on Diamond Dash that Chris did. I was like, looked down, I'm like, okay, these are huge. I just step right in the middle, keep going forward, step. The third one, I stepped on the front side and then tripped over and just kind of sprawled and jumped. And I like looked over at them and they're like, Jackson's like freaking out because we're all like, you just gotta step in the middle. That's all you gotta do. Don't step on the front side. Good.
You always say on balance that you always just want to run fast and lean forward, and that's exactly why. If you have a misstep, all your momentum is just going forward, going to that platform. Because if you fall backwards, obviously you don't have much of a chance.
So going into hopscotch next, I felt really good on those actually. Like I don't think I took like a second. Kind of shook out off the trampoline, got through those. I know on the one where you have to go from front to catching both sideways and they're offset, so it's a little bit difficult. I know like I had one hand that like my front fingers slipped off, so I like readjust that and like just looking back on the video of it, it's kind of like, oh, I didn't really notice that when I was on that.
And that's the thing, you're so like hyper focused, you don't
realize it as you're going,
and then kicked over. This year they had a lot of like the like walls that you had to go over. I feel like
I've seen those in the past, and it always like.
Was it just on 5?
I think it was on a couple more too, but I don't know.
It always seems like that just adds that extra bit of difficulty because you're thinking about getting over that, but they spin, right?
Yeah.
I think most
so
of them
you could kind of go through it. Okay.
But like it's just so weird because you're so used to like going down on it because you're so high up and you can just like kind of kick down.
And it was close too.
But it was like close, so like you could push off of it and then you have to go over top. So got through hopscotch and I just knew like I could just go straight into mega wall. Like I feel, or not mega wall, but straight into the wall. I felt confident enough that I can get up there.
Yeah, that wall shouldn't be any problem for you.
Yeah. And then had a little bromance with Akbar and Matt. They had I didn't know they were doing this, but they had a protein shake at top in there. I looked at him like, where's my protein? I'm like, we got some right here. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, that's crazy. But yeah, I kind of like, as I was going on to the next salmon ladder, I didn't realize like on TV, it doesn't seem very long between the wall and the ladder, but it's like, it's a long, long ways.
Yards.
So like,
oh, really?
I was like walking down, shaking out. I'm like, oh, this is a long time. I should probably go a little quicker. Got to the salmon ladder. I thought I was going to feel a little less confident, but when I grabbed the bar and I did the first one, I was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Just straight up. Going into box office, I feel like I caught him really good, which I think I caught him right in the middle. I took a couple swings, and I got the slot one, which was the biggest one I was worried about, because it's a pretty big drop, and then
you have to like turn too.
You have to reach around.
One slot's facing you, the other one's on the back side.
Yeah.
So you have to like lâcher and reach around, and then it drops. And then, like, since they're on bungees, they kind of twist a little bit, too. So I was kind of, like, going around in a circle a little bit, back and forth, and I just decided that I don't want to burn myself out here, so I'm just going to throw it. I know I probably made it through, so if I catch it, great. If not, I make it through.
Yeah.
Ended up throwing kind of sideways, caught it still. And, like, the dismount for box office was, like,
it was up.
It was, like, even with, like, your waist.
Okay.
So, like, you were hanging under it. So, like, swinging, you kicked off of it and back up, and then, like, as I went off, Jackson ran before me too, and he did the same thing. He like landed on his butt and did butt bounce. So like as I was going, like I'm doing the same thing, and I butt bounce on it. And I after that, I was like, oh, that was awesome. Like I'm feeling great right now.
At that point, that dismount is like where you could see the last like climb.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, it's right there, it's right there. And like as I'm going, like I'm feeling good, but I was like, if I go like for the split decision, if I go towards the left side, the upper body, like I could either get burnt out and fall, or I could get like take a lot of time and I can miss out on power tower. So I was like, either way, I'm going to Vegas. So I took diving boards, which was thinking about it. Like I don't know why I did, because like I feel like my balance isn't where I want it to be.
Yeah.
But I still did it anyway, and I think me and Jackson were the only two that got through it, right?
I think so.
Yeah, me and Jackson
Everyone else
were the only two. Jackson fell in the third one, like bear hugged it and got up. And I don't know, like I same thing for Diamond Dash. I told myself, just step right in the middle, you'll be fine. Step right in the middle. But then they're like 6 feet apart.
And you get no run up.
Yeah, and Jackson's like, just step in the middle. I'm like, these look kind of far, but okay. So the first one I was fine. second one I was fine, but then I was like so far behind myself that I stepped like right on the front side of the third one, and then it's just quick reaction. I just stepped on the front side and just went, and I dove to the platform, which was like, at that point I was like, no way, that's just happened. And I didn't even check the time at all either. And then I kind of like went and wiped my shoes off, and then got in the spider climb, and I jumped up. I was like, okay, I was kind of worried about it being slippery or something. Yeah. But I felt pretty good and started going up. Those doors,
I was going to ask,
110% heavier than I thought they were going to be.
Right. Now, is each door like 100 pounds, or is each door 50 pounds?
No, they didn't tell us.
Yeah. Okay.
In the walkthrough, someone asked, and he's like, you'll be able to lift them. Yeah. That's all he said. So,
and I was like, fine, whatever, and I got up, and they're like, make sure you don't push your shoulders into it, use your hands, because if your feet slip and your head's in it. And
yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, so I got up to it, I put my back into it, and I went to push up, and I was like, Jesus. And I was like this, and it was I was like, oh my God, these are so much heavier than I thought. So I got the first ones up, and I just kept on going, and towards halfway or up towards the top, my legs just were burning so much. I didn't expect that to happen. That was the last thing I felt like I was gonna get tired on. So I was like, if I fall here, I'm gonna be so upset. Shout out to Jackson.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it last year that Jackson fell on
there? It was in 12.
Okay.
He's like 5 feet away, and he just burnt out.
Yeah, so just building up, and then through the last door, you'd think you're right there, but then you still have to climb a little bit more. And then I think I was closer to the back side of spider climb too. So I had to work my way forward too, and then grab on and pull up. But then hit that second noggin buzzer, which was awesome. That was probably my favorite. I think that one was over top of the mega wall, just because me and Chris always talk about just getting the finisher patch, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, finished it. It was awesome. Ended up having the fastest time.
I was just gonna ask, how was your time?
Yep, had the fastest time. I know Jackson had the fastest before me, and then I finished. I think he took a little more time between the on the diving boards and between the spider traps. So ended up with the fastest time of the night and made it to Power Tower throughout on the next night too. So it was a great experience. I mean, got a noggin buzzer through the headband. It was awesome.
Nice. Okay, and you said Jackson up to that point had the fastest time. Was he able to hold on or onto that second place?
Yep, Jackson. He held on to second place. So it was me and him going Power Tower, which was there was probably 7 more people after me too. So it was kind of oh, is he are they going to go slow? Are they going to go fast? What are they going to do here?
And so Chris was one of those. So, if he beat him, you would have been happy with that, too.
Yeah, it would have been awesome. It would have been awesome me and Chris. That would have been huge, but, I mean, it's still really good. Both Iowa boys made it,
that's crazy. It's so cool.
But, yeah, awesome experience. Just, have that with someone that you train, so close to and stuff like that.
What was that like? Because the Power Tower, I feel, is pretty intimidating. Because how often are you up in the air that high doing obstacles?
Yeah, and plus it's not like it's water or anything. Yeah, it's a pad, which you're it's a pad. No, okay.
It is a big pad.
It's a very
big pad, but still, it's not
with a lot of air.
Yeah, but that's higher than any obstacle I've been on. Yeah. Once you get to the top, it's way up. Power Tower, I didn't really get to see it. I know we did some shots in the alleys behind it, which are super cool. Then we got to see the Power Tower as they're going up. It was huge and massive and stuff, but didn't really get to see it. And then once they had me and Jackson do B-roll and interviews before we went, so we got to hang out a lot with that and do some funny stuff. So, but then we get there and they do the Power Tower testing, and so we watch everybody, and it starts off with this giant block push up the ramp, which I'll get to that in a second. But you push it up, and then once you get to the top, it stops, and then you have to it's kind of like airport security. You have to zigzag back and forth on the way down, and then you turn around and run and sprint back up the ramp. Then it goes rope, and you climb up a bar over to some cliffhanger things, and down cliffhangers, and then to a ladder, climb up the ladder, and then it has the falling shelves that you have to go through. So that's pretty much all. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So we're on the starting blocks. And it's crazy, knowing that it's you versus another, this is it, you get this,
it's head to head, which doesn't happen a lot in Ninja, other than Power Tower.
Yeah, it never happens besides Power Tower. So it's and being there with Jackson, which he's had experience, he's an amazing athlete, he's super strong.
So strong.
And he's been to the Power Tower before.
So has experience on it, knows what it feels like to be that high and stuff. So I was going into it, I was I made it here, that's awesome. If I somehow win it, great. If not, I'm gonna be upset, but I'm happy that
you're happy for your friend. Yeah.
Yeah. So going to the first one, they have you like on these flat platforms, and then they have like the buzzer going off in the background. So just sitting there, I'm like, okay, I feel like I have a lot of leg power. Like Jackson's more of a lengthy, I'm kind of like shorter, so I feel like I could get ahead on that part.
Yeah.
So pushing the block up, like at the end, it doesn't slowly stop. It stops. And it's a hard wood. There's no padding on it.
Yeah.
So I'm there. I'm looking down, like at my feet. I'm like, all right, here we go. Buzzer starts going off. I run into it, start pushing. I'm just driving my feet, not even like paying attention. And I get to the top faster than I expected. And like I don't know which way my head went, but it went somewhere that hurt and like hit my head right onto it. I was like kind of like dazed and like kind of seeing stars, and I think I like bit my teeth. Like, I bit your teeth.
Oh yeah, especially if you're not expecting it.
You get like that tingling feeling, and I was like, oh my god, we got to keep going. So like he got a little further ahead of me there because I kind of was just like paused and like stopped because I thought I broke my neck. So zigzagging back and forth, it's like the feeling of like the zigzag back and forth without breaking your neck or getting a concussion, whatever I did. It probably isn't the greatest, but doing it with that as well, it sucks because you're like going back and forth. Then sprint up, you're going through the ropes. I think Jackson got there a little bit faster than I did, and I was like, well, I got to make up some ground somehow. So I felt like I just had to get as quickly through the ropes as I could. So I think Jackson took like a little bit bigger of a pullback on the first rope, and I kind of just tried going through it quick. Then going up, I think I caught up to him a little bit as we're going through the ropes, just from the smaller pullback I had, but then he kind of blew me out a little bit more on the going up, like the mustache is what they called it, just like little ledges. But then he like went up too high, he wasn't paying attention, and then he had to come back down. And then just his grip strength is phenomenal. So
he's a climber at heart, so
going through like that, and then like the cliffhanger, he was super smooth, and I was like clonky, like working my hands like super easy, like just walking him over, and I was still kind of like out of it. And then we get to the ladder thing, which is like way closer than I thought. I just like put my feet on it and pulled up. And that thing really sucked to climb up because it's not an actual ladder, it's one side. So you have to like climb up and like have your feet on the same rungs and stuff like that. So it's super awkward climbing up. He was just ahead of me there, and then we get to the falling shelves. And I think working like at a gym and just having more like time on obstacles and understanding them gave me a big advantage there. So he jumped up to the falling shelf and like went forward with it first. So as I was dropping, he was forward, so he had to take a backswing and then go. And when I did it, I grabbed on and kicked backwards, so it dropped and then I went. So like I just kind of got a little bit of a head start on that swing there. So by the time we got to the second falling shelf, we were like head to head, like we caught at the same time. Kick back, go, crotch, kick back, go. And then the last one, I think I just that little start there that got me a little bit further ahead. And
I think that's what won you the race. Is you going back.
Yeah, you can't really get ahead that fast without linking through those.
Yeah,
it's crazy if you do that. But yeah, I ended up. I think there was like 0.2 of a second that I went little bit faster than him. And
when you guys dove for the buzzer, did you know like, oh, I got him? Like, or was it like so close that you were like, I have no idea?
I knew that I was ahead of him. Like I felt like right away I knew I won. And plus they have like whenever you hit the buzzer, it's just like one side. Oh,
I gotcha.
So I knew right away, but I was halfway through. I was like, there's no way I can like beat Jackson on cliffhangers when I have a concussion or a broken neck, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like beat down, and then I just pulled through at the end, and it was great to see. But yeah.
All right, so you guys are both going on to Vegas. Chris, this will be your second time qualifying for Vegas. Levi, it's your first. Obviously, you're just going to keep your training schedule the same, right? Because that's going to be at night.
Yep.
The power tower, you'll have your safety pass, so that's kind of clutch going in.
Yeah, huge.
Because, you got that in your back pocket. If you happen to make a mistake, you can get another shot at it.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely nice to have, just because you had that just a little bit extra security, especially going in to like stage one of it. It's like, in my opinion, that's probably like my least, like my lowest like skill level is stage one in Vegas. So I feel like having that there just to help me out just a little bit is just amazing to have. Just gives you like a little bit more boost and kind of run freely. So you like, obviously you don't want to fall, but like you don't have as much pressure, which you can run a lot more clear and calmly.
Definitely.
So, gives you a little more confidence at least, especially for stage one. It's like everyone is so vulnerable on stage one because this is your first time in the season running against a timed course.
Yeah.
So you have to go, so you don't have as much time to be careful or like think as much about it. So
and you see so many people get through the course and there's like 5 seconds left and they can't get up that cargo net, and like just that added time is so much pressure. I can't even imagine.
Yep.
So I'm really excited to see how you guys do out in Vegas. I know you guys will continue to work hard here with those late nights. Your significant others will have to sacrifice a little bit longer, but I'm sure they understand.
Hopefully they get it.
So again, guys, thanks for your time, and I can't wait to see how you guys do out in Vegas.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Chris and Levi of the Ninja Teens. I'll have all their socials linked down below. Go check them out.
Deuces.
Thanks, guys.